It took almost 3 months to see a really good sunny day this year, and when it arrived, I immediately ran out and did an 11-mile hike, during which I discovered this amazing secluded area with a tiny patch of land that I thought might just be big enough to put a bivvy on.
Would you sleep here for the night? Because I'm going to.
A week or so later, with that really hot weather a distant memory, I thought, you know what, let's go back out to that amazing spot by the little brook, and it will also be a great opportunity to spend my first night in my new Hunka XL Bivvy. This isn't a sponsored video, by the way. That bivvy bag's actually a gift for my upcoming birthday from my mum. So thanks, mum. To be honest, I thought that the limited space here would make it ideal to use a basic bivvy setup. Of course, when I returned here, it was even more limited space than I'd anticipated.
I'm aware some of you will probably think this bag looks massive for a basic camp. That's just because I basically was in a rush to get out. So I've put my massive duck down sleeping bag just straight in here in the lofting bag, so that can compress to an unbelievable level. If I really wanted to cram that down, there's no telling how small we could get this. Definitely don't need the big bag for it, I know that much. But it's nice to have options.
As this was late on in the day, I decided not to fetch my little chair and table to do a proper camping cookery setup and just sit on one of my camping mats. And I'll be honest, even as this was inflating, I had this thought.
We may have a slight issue in exactly how much space we've got to lie down, so we'll figure that out later on. Let's get something to eat.
For this particular trip, I decided to fetch my Trangia stove, and this is one of my most beloved items I've ever bought. I bought it about a year ago, it's still going strong, and I won't repeat what I've said in other videos, but basically just sitting there watching the flames steadily build and slowly boil up whatever I've got on top of it. It's almost like a meditation exercise. It's just a lovely little simple stove, and I really enjoy it. However, at this point, I will say that while I was waiting for everything to slowly boil up here so I could put my pasta in, I definitely, as I was wandering around the campsite, fully started to grasp it was going to be a very cold night. And I actually had this stove slightly overfilled with fuel. You might have noticed that if you know about these sort of things and use these things on a regular basis, because I was hoping that I would be able to sit up in the bivvy with the Trangia lit just to add a nice little bit of a campfire feel to the situation. But I sort of knew at this point it was going to be way too cold to be spending too much time not wrapped up nice and tight in the bivvy once it was proper dark nighttime, long after the sun had deserted us.
Lovely. And suddenly, everything's all right in the world again. I'm definitely gonna eat the rest of my pasta quite quick and then start having a proper look at this bivvy and getting everything camouflaged as well.
So that's exactly what I did. It was at this point that I knew for absolute certain that this camping mat had a puncture in it, but I do always tend to fetch two with me because I just like to add some extra layers between me and the ground. But you can see, even with just this small camping mat, I'm struggling to find an actual flat space that doesn't have a rock sticking up or some unruly knotty ground beneath me. I know I could move the sticks and stuff out of the way, but I didn't want to start disturbing all of the creepy crawlies and woodlice while I was then planning to sleep in a bivvy that didn't have a complete mesh enclosure or anything like that, literally on their home basically. So here comes the second camping mat to save the day and give our back a little bit more protection from being poked and prodded throughout the night.
As I mentioned earlier, the sleeping bag is in no way compressed in here, so I'm not worried about having to give it loads of time for lofting or anything. You can see it is basically coming out barely scrunched up ultimately.
So you'll probably notice, as I say, just how big that sleeping bag is, and it is ludicrously warm in my humble opinion. And so I just want to say at this point, later on in the video, look out for different clips where I've actually ended up having to take my coat off, because whereas I'd got in the bivvy expecting a chilly night, it's actually too warm. I didn't even wear my little thin balaclava, just my bug net as well. So yeah, absolutely love it. So here, I just for interest's sake wanted to do a few shots of looking down at the bivvy and that camo net next to it before I put the net in over the top. And you can see, of course, the bivvy isn't a bright, obvious colour. It blends into the environment relatively well, I would say. But there are some shots when I've put the camo net over the top of it where I think it really highlights how, even without doing any extra work and just doing something as simple as throwing the camouflage net over the bag, it really can help you blend in and disappear into the environment, especially because people aren't really going to be looking for you. In these clips, we're of course directly looking for the bivvy bag. So if you're just walking by and not looking for it, you're basically never going to be spotted, in my humble opinion, unless you're obviously dancing around doing videos. So what I've done there, I've literally just taken 3 sticks, pegged down the bottom 2 corners of the net and one of the top corners, leave it all nice and loose over the top of the bivvy so it's not stretched tight or anything. And that one corner that's not pegged down means when we get in and out of the bivvy, we've got that easy access. It's not like we've got to climb under the net. But you can see, in my humble opinion, just in these basic shots, looking directly at the bivvy, that once we've got that loose netting over the top, it really helps to completely disguise it as anything man-made. So yeah, at this point I'd had a little wander around in the further woodland just up this steep bank, and I think that there was a farmhouse slightly closer than I'd anticipated. Not close to this spot by any stretch of the imagination, but I was sure I could hear some sort of farm work or people shouting in the distance. So I decided I was just going to come back and get in the bivvy, and just in case anybody did come up this way, not that there's even a proper path as far as I can tell, it would be worth just hunkering down, no pun intended, and just enjoying the surroundings.
I think right now, to be honest, as the light starts to fade, once again the camera's making it look a lot lighter than it actually is. I'm just going to stop here and hopefully early night, super early morning, disappear before anybody knows.
After it had got a little bit darker, I did go for a second exploration a bit deeper into the woodland, just to see if there was any sign of anybody else out in the area, of which I saw absolutely nothing of interest, so that's definitely a massive positive in my book in this particular case. I did set up my trail cam. Did I catch anything interesting? No, just me looking quite dazed at 1:45 in the morning, realising it was 0 degrees outside the bivvy. Unfortunately, I can't find my adapter to get the footage directly off the camera, so I had to take a photo of the screen. What is this, the old days? Anyway, back to the camp. So what I like to do, as you might have seen in previous camps, is before I get ready to properly shut down for the night, I get all of my kit together in one place, as much packed into my rucksack as possible, which means that if I do need to get up and disappear in a hurry, I haven't got to be scrabbling around looking for little odds and ends that might be left out. It's just a case of, right, get everything I need ready where I need it. I left the stove out in that little green bag though, just to make that clear. Obviously I wasn't going to put an alcohol stove, a gas stove or any other stove in the bag in the bivvy with me, because you don't want anything that's going to be trapping fumes in an enclosed space. But just look at this. This is about a 10-minute clip sped up, and you can see how much it has visibly gone dark in this shot. Now, of course, the camera is making it look way lighter than it actually was to begin with, but you can see here, once it was properly dark, my goodness, visibility down in this little valley was extremely low. Unfortunately, we had a lot of passing cloud, but we did get some great moments of seeing the stars and seeing satellites and so on, like this.
Don't know if you can see that, my friends. We're tracking that little light straight through the sky. That is a satellite going right overhead. Might even be the International Space Station. And just make out on the really, really low quality image, the trees and the branches that it's crossing. So I just wanted to try and give you a little look at my POV environment. Obviously I'm not going to put the big light on, and to be honest I'm nervous when it's this dark out here. Just having the phone light on, lighting this environment. But you can probably hear that tree, or those trees, constantly squeaking. And again, sadly, even if I lean forwards to where the little babbling water sound is, you can just barely hear it. But apart from that, let's be honest, what an absolute fantastic place this is. I absolutely love everything about tonight, apart from wherever they are, those trees over there. Ooh.
So then, let's have an honest behind the scenes moment here. So I've got about a 12-minute clip of me talking to the camera in this dim red light propped up in the bivvy that I thought would be a great way to do this video, that I would do a review of the whole evening, sat up in the bed late at night, and cut in clips of what had been going on as I was talking about it. However, in the cold light of day, because of the cold temperatures and me probably being quite tired by that point, it was a terrible recording, and I just ended up with a really boring, repetitive 12-minute clip of me with no background or anything to see. So that idea was terrible. So here's a brief summary of the evening from that late on point. Basically, I didn't get loads of sleep. I think not because of the bivvy and the sleeping bag setup, because that's one of my favourite setups these days, but because the ground just wasn't quite flat enough. I was constantly being rolled to one side, and then I was trying to prop myself up with my rucksack, and it just didn't quite work out perfectly. It was just too limited a space, to be honest. But all in all, I still absolutely loved it. After reviewing the map a couple of times obsessively like I do on these occasions, I decided to bring forward my alarm from the usual 5 AM that allows me to escape the area long before anybody's awake and wandering around. But because I was surrounded by farmland, even though a lot of it's public access land, I always like to think I want to be well out of here before the farmers start their day, even though that rarely ends on some occasions. And so I fetched my alarm forward to 4 AM like I've done in the past, just to try and minimise the chance of raising any suspicion if anybody's starting their workday and looking out into the darkness of this sort of environment and going, hang on, why is somebody out there wandering across the land at 5 AM? Where have they been overnight? And so on. To be absolutely honest, this was a really good night. It might not have been the most restful night, but the environment, apart from the creaky trees, was so fantastically peaceful. I really just enjoyed everything about it. A nice, calm, drama-free evening out in the wilderness. That is exactly what you hope for when you're planning these little trips. And on this occasion, maybe it's a rare occasion, it's exactly what I got. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please do consider subscribing and checking out my other videos for loads more adventures like this. Please do consider becoming a channel member, a Facebook subscriber, a PayPal or Coffee supporter if you really want to help me out and enjoyed what you've seen. And, well, I suppose I'll just say an absolutely massive thank you to all of my current and recent channel members, supporters of all different kinds. And until the next time, I'll leave... Oh, yeah, I should always do the final plug. I'll leave some Amazon associate links to some of the kit you've seen me use in this video down below. If you buy through those links, I will get a commission, so it's a great way to support these videos if you are looking at getting some of this sort of kit anyway. And anyway, my friends, until the next time, thank you very much for watching. Keep it bivvy-worthy, keep it interesting, have an absolutely fantastic day, and of course, my friends, farewell.